Hey, what is up, guys? It's your boy, the Crown Rail. Then I'm back. Yes, I'm apparently a dog. I'm just sitting here. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, sorry. This is me. So that is Toby. That is my new addition to my little life that I have here. As far as my mental health wise, he's a good pooch, aren't you, buddy? Huh? Huh? Yeah. Anyways, so the big reason for this video actually was because I recently noticed on my channel that I recently got 100 subscribers. Now, for someone like me who has basically almost zero social media presence and, well, doesn't really bother advertising, to be honest, I kind of see YouTube as sort of a social media platform in itself. I just use it to post my videos. So, kind of that for that reason, and then also last night I just watched one of my friends who goes by the YouTube username Sacramento Rail Productions, or as I know him as Alex. He recently did a layout tour video of his layout and collection, and I thought I'd do the same. So, also, you haven't really seen, I don't think you've seen my apartment. But yes, I do live in my own apartment. And I'm going to show you a bit of my collection, because ever since the last video, I just noticed it's been 3 years since my collection video, and it's been almost 1 year since my little video on my channel of me running my trains on the layout in this apartment. The layout is completely different, and the collection has basically grown significantly. Then, starting from the kitchen, we have my real life things, slice of rail right here, and a number board from a Union Pacific SD90 Mac, which are, as by now, they're no longer in operation and in service, and I think a fair few of them are just waiting the deadline to get scrapped, as far as I'm aware. This is a piece of a crossing gate, a broken piece of a crossing gate, 2 rail mountable flags. The best part of my model train stuff collection. I've got 4 crossing bells. As you can see, with all this mesh wiring, I can use this Bachmann controller right here, and they all work. So starting off with the SafeTrans Hybrid bell, SafeTrans Type 1 and Type 2, and a WC Hayes E-bell. This stop sign right here is not a normal stop sign. This is actually an SP era stop sign. So, there's that. Kitchen's a bit of a mess. There's Toby. Funny little man cave sign. This drawing, frame drawing of a cab forward, because it's my favorite locomotive. I actually got this from an estate sale. So actually, just quickly before the layout, because I haven't shown this. This is my computer setup. This is my computer desk, okay? And as you notice here, I used to live in Switzerland. For those of you who don't know, I used to live in Switzerland for 4 years. And this Swiss electric locomotive, nicknamed the Crocodile, for reasons that you could probably kind of see, was my personal favorite electric locomotive, and it still remains as my personal favorite as far as European locomotives goes. I'm not a huge fan of European trains as I am with American trains, but I do take a liking for them because they are a bit more aesthetically pleasing, and they're all different and unique. So starting off, as far as the collection is concerned, This, I haven't built it yet, but I got it at the latest train show. Yeah, during COVID, having a model train show actually happen. I mean, that was kind of interesting. But this is a Ferris wheel, and it's by International Hobby. Oh, that's what IHC stands for. Sorry, I wasn't completely aware. But why I bought this kit was actually because it's motorized. So in the box, you actually have to put it together, but it comes with a little motor, and it actually runs under normal power. So I really want to get building on this before long, and I certainly do have the time for it. Over right here, I have two passenger cars that are currently going under repairs that I just haven't gotten around to. One is the UP baggage car. This actually, I have had this for a while. It was featured in the previous collection video. However, what was not featured is this Santa Fe El Capitan bi-level car. Now, I actually have 4 of these bi-level cars. And I also have the RPO car, or the mail car for the El Capitan, and what I personally think is a very, very cool piece, the transition baggage car. I don't believe I featured this in the previous video, and I will show that as soon as I get... oh, also, I just forgot. Yeah, this is where those Pennsylvania passenger cars are. They're still in the box. I rarely take those suckers out of the box. At the train show, because it's COVID, and I'm a foamer... Yeah, I got an SP face mask. Yeah, I couldn't help it when I saw this. There was a UP one with a UP shield and then an Amtrak logo. I didn't see that there was a BNSF one. I'm pretty sure there is. I would imagine. But I just didn't see it at the show. It's currently made by Daylight Sales. Just check their website and whatnot. Beautiful, beautiful company. Absolutely love what they're doing. Back to my PC setup. Okay. I actually have something really cool. So this is the Digitrax programmer that basically allows me to program my locomotives as is on my computer. So I don't have to actually fidget with my previous Digitrax Zephyr controller, which was previously the only way I could program any of my locomotives to any different thing. Now, going back to the train show, I should say, these are all the cars that these are all the freight cars that I actually got from the show. Right here, I've got an SP gasoline tank car. This is about a 10,000 gallon tank car or something like that, because most of these are here. I got an SP overnight runner box car. I absolutely love this because the Carnitas Motor Railroad Society has a ton of these on their layout, and they just look really cool to me. And so the fact that I have one now, I really love. Next is a Tyco Exxon 3 triple dome, triple bogey as well, a super long tank car. Obviously, I don't think something this long would have been common to see on the railroads today, or even back then, but you know, it's Tyco. So the next car right here is a WP window bay. I really kind of like this car, and just because I don't have a ton of WP stuff. A friend of mine is more into WP. I also have, I got 3 cabooses. So the WP one right here. I got this Conrail caboose right here. And I think my personal favorite is this Rio Grande caboose. It's a really nice one. Now, I did have a yellow one, but I don't seem to know where it went. So that's kind of odd, because I've never sold it. I was not interested in selling it. So either I lost it in the move between the house and the apartment, or I actually got robbed. Whichever. I don't want to go into detail about that. So I actually have 2 of these. One here, Denver Rio Grande Denver Rio Grande. I believe these are cement hoppers. Don't quote me on that. I believe these are cement hoppers, like this one as well. The short, steadier hoppers, the 2 bays, I believe were mostly cement hoppers, because the grain hoppers you typically see are 3 bays. And then we also have this lovely Santa Fe trailer car, which I am going to be adding to my other trailers. And then and then these 2 flat cars, I got a nickel plate road flat car, and then this is a chassis system flat car, XB&O, whichever. This actually did previously have the logging crane on it, but I took it off because reasons I'll actually get to now, actually. So, if you look, this monstrosity is actually a completely separate layout to, oh, by the way, there's my layout currently as it is. Yes, it's a double-decker now. I built a second level. I'll get into more details in just a second. So this module, or this layout, I should say, is actually a kit by Woodland Scenics. It's called the River Pass. I've looked it up online. I've researched it and whatnot. So this was actually in, I got it from a friend of mine. It was in his trash, pretty much, in way worse shape than it is, broken in half, and I thought it would kind of look cool, and I thought I might try and turn it into a logging railroad. Well, unfortunately, I have a bit of sort of large layout syndrome. So currently my layout right now is a 4.5 by 10. Now previously my layout was a 13.5. So I actually missed that sort of long layout that I previously have that I just don't have anymore. And so because I can't really combine this, I have no reason to continue. I don't feel like continuing to restore it, and I'm actually currently selling this on eBay. It's going for $200. I base this thing, again, like all the top section that you see here, that's basically what was it. This bridge was not here. All this was not here. You can kind of see where it was completely broken in half, just all the way down. All the track was here. That crossing is actually a lighted / speaker crossing that I added in there, so you get a little extra there. Completely restored and had to glue the track. Yeah, it's not 100% stable, but then again, if you look on it, but underneath, it was a bit of a disaster. And all these styrofoam panels that you see here were actually brand new ones that I had to rebuy, and I cut holes through these specifically. So like the switches right here, that's a brand new switch that I had to completely replace because it just wasn't there. Curves, just in case, if the train derails, you gotta stick your hand in there. Terminal track where the wire is. There's the old switch, the original switch. This switch has a bit of a problem. But again, just in case, these are like, the holes are so you can access the inside of the tunnel to where, at points that the train is most likely going to derail in. Same with here. So I will actually stick the link to the eBay listing and my friend's channel, Sacramento Rail Productions, in the description. Go check it out if you guys are interested. I can tell you this much: the vast majority of the track needed serious cleaning. Yes, I did go and clean it up. This was originally a logging railroad. I intended to be a logging railroad, and it actually does run. And I do actually have a logging locomotive that is DCC and sound that I recently got. I will show this in just a second. But again, I didn't find much use for this after I realized I can't combine it. So it's a really nice layout, but it's just not something for me personally. Actually, down below it, I should mention that these car case boxes, yes, I finally got some car case boxes. I'm so happy. I also got them from the show, and it's now basically what I use to carry my locomotives in. I can finally have that. However, they're very heavy. They are very heavy, especially when combined, because of everything that's in there. I've got so many new engines that are DCC and sound locomotives that I've gotten ever since the previous video. I mean, yeah, there are some that are still there that you know and like. So in the first box up top here, it's the least full one. We got engines like my SD40R. Yes, mine is slightly different than the rest of my friends because it's got the red stripe. Mine's the better one. I got my Bachmann GP30 from the Great Northern. That's just DCC. I got my logging mallet. I did test run this on the layout above, and it does actually run surprisingly well on it, since because it's had a track record of being a bad runner. The FT Santa Fe, again, part of the original Bachmann DCC set. Now, the Challenger locomotive underneath, I finally got a freaking Challenger, although, to be honest, I should have seen this coming. As you could kind of see, this thing is missing some of the tender wheels, and because it's River Rossi, it's like an interesting River Rossi locomotive, these tender wheels are particularly large, and you can only get them from River Rossi or older models. They don't sell these in store this big. And yes, no, it was not originally Santa Fe. It was actually, I actually looked at it, and it was actually a Denver Rio Grande Challenger, which did actually exist. Denver Rio Grande did actually have some Challengers, but he decided to paint it over and re-letter it to Santa Fe, and I just thought that was hilarious, because I do have this and also another fantasy Santa Fe locomotive. Then the locomotive down here, I've got oh, by the way, I should mention the Challenger's DC and sound installed. Somebody custom installed DC and sound into this locomotive. I'm pretty sure it would have been DC otherwise. Moving on, another River Rossi locomotive that I don't run much. Actually, I haven't run this thing hardly at all because I'm still trying to work it out as far as cleaning and electrical currents is concerned. But this is a 464 Hudson locomotive from the New York Central. I've really wanted one of these locomotives for a while. And I am a sucker for cheap deals. I always buy my engines cheap and used on eBay. And this popped up one day and I was like, mine. So, I'm a bit of a sucker for deals like that, I will plainly admit. Okay, moving on to the other box. It'll get significantly heavier as the day goes on. So here's some more new additions. Well, actually, no. My two Blood Centipedes, not new. I've had those for a while. They were in my previous video. Starting with, okay, but all below that are new additions that I either haven't featured in the show, well, in the video on my channel, and were new that I bought. So, starting with this MTH demo unit. Now, I thought previously this was for the ACE, but it turns out not to be. Supposedly it was for the SD70M-2, I believe. Nevertheless, it does have a DTC and sound decoder in it, but the sound doesn't work. So, what I've done is I've paired it up with this locomotive. And yes, that is a GEVO or an ES44 DC that's in Santa Fe blue and yellow, which never existed. So, again, it's my other fantasy locomotive. My other Santa Fe fantasy locomotive. This is a Tower 55 locomotive. The running gear on it is crap. So basically what I do is I pair this locomotive with the demo Ace. I just called it an Ace because it's easier. And this uses its sound and its aesthetics and its lights, and this is mostly used for its pulling power. Right next to the Santa Fe Gevo is an Erie caboose. It's a slightly more modern one, but it is by Bachmann, of course, which I now have two Santa Fe cabooses, the exact same. One's from the set, the other one is from a lot. Again, I buy all my trains almost all the time on eBay. Next, this unit, it's kind of special to me because it still exists. Not exactly with the Operation Lifesaver on it, but this is a UP patch CNW -9 number 9741, and 9741 actually does still run on the rails today. It's only one of two, the other one being 6706, which I previously wanted to renumber this one to 6706 because it's the only one of the two that still has Operation Lifesaver still on it. 9741 actually doesn't have it on either side. So kind of a project maybe. Although, to be honest, I don't really care. As long as, to be honest, the fact that it's still one of the last two existing CNW patches, yeah, I'm just going to leave it at. I'm probably just going to leave it as is. Unless I get really picky or bored or whatever. My other one, this is a Walters mainline ST60M Triclops for the BN. Now, I've only seen one of these once, and I believe it was for PLRX. I've never seen one since, and I don't actually believe I've ever seen... I think I might have, but I don't know. The two-piece windshield ST60Ms, so for BN. Right next to that is an Athergenesis SP window bay. Oh, by the way, the DCC and sound, and also, by the way, this the Santa Fe Gevo and the CNW-9 both have flashing ditch lights. I don't know why, but that's really cool. This, going back to the SP window bay caboose, now this is actually interesting because it's lighted. So this little beacon light up here actually lights up red, and the interior lights up. I don't know how to get it to work properly. I don't know if it's got like a decoder in it or sometime, or it's just the connectivity with the lights, and the metal wheels are like the contacts for the power of the lights. If you guys know anything about that, please let me know in the comments. This, I don't even know what to describe it personally. I just thought it was really cool. Going as a funky looking piece of car, but it's basically a half box car, half window bay window caboose for the Santa Fe. I thought it was a really cool little piece. I think I haven't for some reason I haven't featured it, probably because it was stowed away. So a lot of the cars that I would either have stowed away in the previous video or just not have because I either I bought them later after the video, or I stowed them away because they all had plastic wheels. Now, in order to run your own rolling stock, they have to have knuckle couplers and metal wheels. Well, a lot of my rolling stock did not have metal wheels. So that's why I've been recently upgrading all my rolling stock, or at least as much as I can, with knuckle couplers and metal wheels so I can run them at the club. Now, the next car is kind of interesting because, yeah, it's a typical Bachmann McLeod River boxcar. Well, McLeod River in itself, that's pretty nice to see. But it's got a Fred on it. And yes, that Fred lights up when I put it on the track and apply track power. It flashes like a normal one. It's a more modern one. I do actually have another one, which is actually the older version of the Fred, which is a square. And I put it on another one of my cars, and I will show you that later on because it's on the layout. So that's that box. God, these boxes get heavy. I think it's heavier towards the bottom because all the big engines that I have, they're heavy. heavy. They weigh a bit. Okay, so I see a very mixture of engines in this box. Starting from my Santa Fe GP40s. Yep. The UP DD40AX Centennial. SPGE U50. My Allegheny. And my Cotton Belt RS3. Now, the other SP locomotives that I have not featured yet is my RSD 4-5, my RSD 15, aka the Alligator, and my SP SD70M. Now, all these three Santa Fe locomotives, as well as the New Haven E33, I believe. This electric locomotive was interesting because it went under various different designations depending on which one it was. I believe for the New Haven Railroad, it was designated as an E44. Later designated as an E33 by Conrail and Penn Central. Don't quote me on that. That's to my general knowledge. Again, I am obsessed with DCC and or sound locomotives, so all four of these locomotives have DCC and sound. Moving on to the last... Oh, actually, hang on. I forgot that. Moving on to the last box. God, my collection is heavy. And it's massive. Again, some old, some new additions. I got my Mikado, my Decapod. This SP caboose has been featured around lately. My cab forward. But my new additions that I haven't featured yet are my Kodachrome tunnel motor, which has a ridiculous light package. So not only do the headlights work, but the catwalk light works, the marker lights work, the emergency light works. Like, the amount of lights on this thing is dizzying. And you might have actually see it's a whole light array on the front from my previous model train music video. I did feature it in one of the beginning scenes where I basically turned on all the engine's lights at a close aim. Above that is a Southern Pacific Daylight what is it, an E8, E9, something like that. Again, I forget which, but what makes it special to me is it's 6051. Now, 6051 actually does still exist. It's in the Sacramento, the California State Railroad Museum, and it still runs, and this model is really cool. Again, I like collecting models wherever I can of locomotives that actually still exist and still run. The Mars light actually flashes, the headlight works, and they did try and get the horn like it sounds today, but of course, you know, it doesn't sound 100% like it. Over here, I have an MTH Daylight GS4 locomotive. No, it is not 4449, I wish, but it's a great locomotive nonetheless. MTH, it makes some really, really nice stuff. This whole entire locomotive is mostly made out of metal, except for the plastic details. So this thing is a weighty beast. It's got MTH's sound 3.0, I would believe, and it has chuffing smoke. All the lights work, the gyro light, the cab's lit, side number lights, all the fun stuff. Now, above that is two Bachmann locomotives. So I got the Pennsylvania GG1, one lovely locomotive. And I think as far as locomotives goes, this is my latest edition, which is a Chicago and Illinois Midland 210-2 steam locomotive. Again, DCC and sound and whatnot and what have you. All fun stuff. Now, moving on to the layout itself. It's on a shelving unit as one side, and then it's the other. Now, on the layout itself, I have tons of different rolling stock that you might not have seen. I'm not going to brush over all of it, because while recording this, it's approaching 30 minutes, and my previous collection video was only 25 minutes. But then again, in my defense, my collection has grown significantly since then. So we start with all this manifest where the boxcars. Some boxcars are still there that I've had for a while and also featured in the previous video, but I didn't have them out on the layout because, again, metal wheels. So the stat cars, actually, yeah. So the stat cars, or the container cars have new containers on them, the SP, the extra Sealand containers, and that Sealand container actually is the one that has the Fred on it. I'm too lazy to reach in and grab it again, so I'm just sort of brushing over it. For it, UP observation car here, Santa Fe observation car here, and actually, this is actually my latest addition to my fleet. I actually recently got it a couple days ago. This is an SP steam-powered rotary, and what's really cool about this rotary is the fans actually are motorized. They actually turn when you apply track power, which I think is really cool to have. Again, I actually have upgrades to the layout. I have operational signals, like this one right here. That building over there lights up. The tower lights up. The crossing, this little shack, actually plays e-bell sounds. The station building lights up. That Santa Fe control tower lights up. There's a mesh of wires. We did see that there was the dockyard scene. I kind of moved it in because, again, it's like a mini yard down here, and what have you. Moving up to the second level, and yes, this is my 2-truck Heisler. Again, it has DCC and sound. And when I bought it from the train show, the Great Train Show over in the Cal Expo back in January, this came with all of those log and timber cars. I got that for a steal of a deal, $275, and it even came in its own plastic padded case. What a deal. Especially for such a rare locomotive. You don't see these very often anymore, and I don't think any companies are still making these. 2-track clean cars, some old, some new. Actually, no, those are both old. There's the logging crane. I took it off because, again, it makes more sense in the logging crane scene rather than, just stuck on the flat car. Old trolleys. I believe I did mention this on the episode collection last time. The drawbridge. Those log cars have been here. Some of these flat cars and rolling stock have been here, and some haven't. Yes, I now have a full-on breakdown train, so that's epic. I've got a mini yard here, 2 little station buildings. That building has been with me in a while, and I do kind of want to get this building lighted. I have actually tried it. I just need to find a certain light bulb for it. Now, right here, I've got a little yard area for this twin loop, which actually is only powered by the one Prodigy system. So, of course, it's linked up with 2 switches right here. Various different freight cars. These 3 McKinley Explorer coaches, actually, how can I put this? I've restored them in that they all have fully functioning couplers and metal wheels, so I can run them so much as at the club. But the couplers, they tend to uncouple very easily. So because of that, I ended up gluing these 3 together. So now they're just basically a 3-set that I can't really take apart. And yeah, I love the logging train that I've got right here. I got my nice Heisler. These log cars, I love those because I'm pretty sure, I'm not pretty sure. I know these are made from real sticks, metal chains, and whatnot to make it look fairly realistic. Beautiful, beautiful things, and a nice little bobber to bring up the end. These searchlights over here are cool because they actually function. They light up. They now have LEDs in them, which are nicer and brighter, and they can be controlled via the switches on the side of the layout, which I will show in a sec. Because the original light bulbs, these ones were older type light bulbs, so they couldn't really handle the voltage very well. The old wooden Southern Pacific caboose, again, it's been with me a while, so it's actually been in the previous video. I got 3 trucks now with this manual operating crane, which can lift up trailers and containers alike. Manual, it's just a little yard in the corner here. Right over here, we got the switches for everything that is going on. Outside on the patio, I actually have, I'm just going to take the shades off right here. As you can see, I got 2 crossing lights. Got the portable derailleur right here, a broken coupler, and then peeking through the chair right there is a little wheel chock, apparently. That's for mow equipment. Old tin poster of the American Flyer Trains line. Again, I got that from a estate sale. Love it. It's a nice little decoration piece in my room along with the other ones. And yes, I do nickname this my man cave. More rolling stock down here. That is basically rolling stock that I want to upgrade to metal wheels, but I don't have the metal wheels to do it. Because I previously had a pack of metal wheels, and I burned through them with a fair few of the freight cars. In the box here, I've got more of the El Capitan bi-level coaches that I got. I actually got 4 of them. The box would stay up. The RPO car right here for the El Capitan again. And the piece de resistance, probably a very, very rare piece for me personally, is the transition baggage car. These cars were both from Walters, and it's probably the only times I will ever spend $60 on a single passenger car, ever. Last but not least, we'll go to the back. Go to my bedroom closet. This is my bedroom right here. But in the closet, so right here, you know, we got all the boxes for the previous train sets. But actually, I've got 2 hard hats, one for the California State Railroad Museum, the other one for BNSF. Okay. The other thing is I got all my hats right here. Now, some of these hats, this 4449 sketch hat, the 2 F unit hats, one of the Santa Fe Black Widow, the other one of 913, the one 913 being the WP F unit that runs up in I forget if it's I forget if 913 is the one that runs here or up here in Sacramento. It's the WPF unit that the California State Railroad Museum has, or if it's one of the ones up in Portola. I forgot. Up right here is actually an engineer's, a WP engineer's cap, kind of like the Spirit that won the West SP hats. This is the SP of the West hat, but I do also have right underneath here SP, the Spirit that won the West. As I'm sure most of you will relate, how I first got into train was not models, not rail fanning, but also a little #1 blue engine himself, Thomas the Tank Engine. So I got some old wooden Thomas trains. And then this was not known to me until a couple years into my life. But Lincoln Log apparently made some trains of their own, and they're actually kind of cool, and they're fun to play with. I'm obviously not going to take them out of the bin, because that's a huge bin, and it's containing both of the train sets that existed. That's a bit of work. But unless you want me to do a video of it, I'll be more than happy to, but you got to request it in the comments. Okay. So that is pretty much my apartment. my collection, primarily my model train collection. Again, I want a single level, huge layout, but at the moment the double level layout will do just fine, and I like it a lot. Again, this module layout right here is for sale on eBay. Again, I will link that down below in the video description. If any of you guys are in my nearby area and are interested, because this is local pickup only, I cannot ship this thing. It's just too big. It's a 4x8 foot after all. I'm gonna go into the mirror because I realized my phone camera cannot turn around on the dime. You can see my face. Thank you all again for 100 subscribers. I wish you all the best. Yes, I know this is during COVID times. It's so annoying. I get it. It's been mixed, so to speak, of emotions, drama, and boredom. Trying to just basically do something, have some fun in these weird times. Thank you all for watching. Take care. I hope you all for the best. Stay safe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.